This week's episode of Art Zone is dedicated to Act and Intiman, who, for the first time in many years, are 100% debt-free. Woohoo! Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
Hello, hello.
Hit it, hit it.
Hi there and welcome to The Big Show. I'm Nancy Guppy, coming to you from South Park Hall in beautiful South Park. More on this place right after I tease the show.
I wanted him to never mess with Vietnamese people ever again.
Susan Lieu captivates at TOJ.
This was how I was gonna avenge my mother's death.
The creative groove of Anthony White. Seattle's collection of public art.
From the top or from?
Jet City curates the calendar.
Yeah, I know, it's really hard to say.
And new music from Darren Loucas.
You preach about devils and details, I know about art.
We begin with South Park Hall, an older and historic building that, thanks to a few visionary and hardworking locals, is getting a new lease on life.
Cut. Chicken. Hey, I'm Heidi Herr.
And I'm Karina Lukenbach, and this is South Park Hall. The first time that we came here and saw the space, it was hideous.
The worst paint, drop ceiling, acoustic tiles. I don't know what we were thinking. It was hideous.
Yeah, it was hideous for sure. This space, South Park Hall, has been here since 1926, and the words are inlaid into the side of the building, so it's been called that this whole time, and it was originally made to be a dance hall. It has a sprung floor, and there used to be a stairwell going downstairs to the restaurant.
The property was in foreclosure and coming up for sale, and I thought, well, you know, it'd be nice to do something in South Park. That corner had been so ugly for so long that I thought it'd be a fun project. Mostly cleanup. There was just so many tons and tons of garbage and derelict cars and junk, but it was very rewarding to turn it around for sure.
He very wisely had some pieces of the acoustic ceiling pulled out so that you could peek in and see the 1900s wood ceiling with these 65-foot beams, and I think that's what we saw. The biggest thing is that we took out the drop ceiling. So it was us on a scaffold.
In the heat of summer.
That's true, yeah.
So hot, so sweaty.
And
you're pulling down all of the insulation that's been up there forever. And
found a couple dead rat bodies.
Yeah, a couple bodies, but not too many, really.
Yeah. We expected way more.
Yeah.
It was more work than I've ever had to do on anything, and that I ever want to do on anything again. And it was just fun to we were able to be creative, and we didn't have a huge budget, and so we had to be creative, but it turned out great. Behind this wall was a mural depicting a scene of some Mexican heritage, and it was in such disrepair that we sadly had to cover over it, but we did leave a piece of the mural built inside the wall. We're in the lounge. We're in the lounge. And we have a kitchen. We've just both done food service our whole lives.
I've done, this is the last piece of food service that I haven't
There's
done.
no food here.
Heidi and I have both of our cafes, and we've been having small events there, and we were sort of outgrowing our spaces, and so we found South Park Hall where we could hold larger events and open that up for the community to have their own events. We've had tiny children practicing their dance moves to fancy art handlers from the Sam and the Henry here, like telling their story of how they got into the business, to like 24-year-olds having a birthday party. And people getting married, of course. And places for artists are becoming less and less space to practice, to rehearse their shows, and perform in general. So we've been trying to harbor that community.
Karina likes to throw parties too.
I like to throw parties.
I think when a building becomes vacant for a while, it becomes kind of soulless. And if you get a new tenant that's building their dream in there, the right person, you know, small entrepreneur, it brings a soul back to the building. It gives it life.
People should party here.
I know, people should party here.
Learn more about South Park Hall, including how to book your event at southparkhall.com.
What I didn't realize was that Friday, September 27th, 1996, was the last day I would ever see my mom.
An intense, deeply personal solo performance recently opened at Theater Off Jackson called 140 Pounds, How Beauty Killed My Mother. And here to talk about the story is the writer, performer, and daughter, Susan Lieu. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Nancy.
So glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right, tell us the story of 140 Pounds. What is this?
It's the story of how my mom died from plastic surgery malpractice when I was 11. She went in for a tummy tuck, the narrowing of her nostrils, and a chin implant, lost oxygen to her brain. The doctor was negligent. He didn't call 911 until 14 minutes into the surgery. She was in a coma for 5 days, and then she died.
So you were 11 years old, 22 years ago about?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know, were you told how she died at that point?
In Vietnamese, we just use the word surgery all the time.
Oh.
So I just knew it was a surgery. But it was in the last 4 years when I started researching what happened and I wanted to track down the killer that I realized it was a series of operations, that she had a history of operations.
And you didn't know that?
No, I didn't. I had
Yeah.
no idea, and my family didn't want to talk about it.
So did you have additional information other than your memories of what happened? How did you put this together?
You know, I started asking my dad about what happened. He didn't really remember. He didn't know who he worked with, the lawyers. He didn't know the name of the doctor. I wanted to find old records. And so I started reading through hundreds, thousands of pages of depositions, reading even my own depositions when I was a teenager, and finding out what happened, you know, and piecing it together, working with the old lawyers. It's been, I feel like I'm on CSI, but it's actually my life. The law firm gave me the name of the doctor, Dr. Leslie Mluglin. Then I began my CSI investigation with what my dad likes to call Google.
So you play everything, 8 characters,
That's right.
and it's all pretty much your immediate family, right? Siblings, mom and dad, and
Aunties.
and your young self and your
That's right.
and your current self. So did you know from the very beginning, I want this to be a solo show, and I want to be the performer? That was always the plan.
No,
of course
when
not.
I was taking this solo performance class at Freehold Theater, and I was totally into like Andy Kaufman and like doing absurdist, weird stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a chance to do my first solo show at Pocket, and I was just going to do the absurd stuff. And then my coach said, you know, your family stuff seems really interesting. I was like, oh yeah, but you know, it's dirty laundry about our family. No one wants to hear it. It's sad.
That's what everyone wants to hear, actually.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
And 2 weeks before that show opened, November 2017, I just rewrote the whole show. And,
Really?
Yeah, and I wrote a 25-minute show, and it's very plot-based, character-driven, and that was the beginning, and because I had to do it. There was something inside of me saying, it's time. When Marvin and I were getting married, do I do it for you just for a second?
Yeah, that's great.
We're married. I was wearing a hanbok, a traditional Korean outfit that makes me look like the love child of a sumo wrestler meets a baby doll. Oops, I'm walking backwards now. And a baby doll. My mother-in-law dressed me, and as much as I appreciated my new family, I really wish my mom was there.
Lights change, sound of wedding music, and go.
140 Pounds, it's directed by Sarah Porkalab, super powerful woman. And in your own words, it's being produced by an all-star feminist team.
Yes.
Right? Has being surrounded by females, has it made it more possible for you to do this show versus having men involved? Is there a difference? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, 140 Pounds is a story for women. It's a story for people of color. It's a story for Asian people. It's me. And I wanted to find and build a team that was representative of me, that really understood my experience. You know, and I've admired all of the work of all the women on my team. They're amazing. And it's been great.
How do you separate, or do you, Susan the performer and Susan the daughter? How do you separate those two?
I'm still the same person.
Yep.
But, you know, I've got a show to put up, 75 minutes, 10,000 words. And right now I'm in a place of discipline. So Susan the performer needs to get more reps in. She needs to get more laps in.
Because it's totally scripted.
It's
basically.
totally scripted.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll improv like 5% each night,
Right.
right? If I'm just like really into, like when I get into my aunties, I'm gonna be like, Susan, oh, you know, and I'll just go into it. And
Yeah.
like, you know, there's a scene where we're at Sizzler and I'll just keep talking about the A1
Sizzler.
steak. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Sizzler's very important to my childhood. We all love A1 steak sauce. Oh, yes.
Good to know.
So, I mean, when I'm in the middle of the rehearsals, I'm reliving the trauma of my 7 family members over and over again. You know, there's this one scene where I'm in the hospital and I'm talking to my mom and I'm asking her to come back. You know, growing up, she used to say, hey, when you go to college, I'll move in with you.
Oh.
And so I'm begging her to come back so we can go to college together one day. And I'm crying and crying. And then I gotta run the scene again and make sure the blocking's done again. And then when I come home, I'm tired.
Yeah, yeah. The level of skill, all the skills that you're using, it's very layered. It's extremely layered. Well, the surgeon, I know he was charged with medical negligence. Is that
That's right.
correct? You refer to him, obviously, as a killer. How do you deal with your sense of unfairness? Because essentially you're saying he got away with this.
Oh, yeah, he did.
How do you deal with that internally?
I mean, how do we forgive anybody?
Yeah,
Right?
great question.
I mean, so basically what happened is after my mom died, he lost his license for 4 years. It was suspended, and then he essentially kept practicing for the rest of his life.
Wow.
You know, and so I read all these other cases that went through and how he would plead back to be on probation again, like for years, for years. And so for me, I was very angry.
I started fantasizing about a multi-pronged marketing campaign, targeted Facebook ads just to him, a billboard by his clinic, an expose in his local paper. I wanted him to never mess with Vietnamese people ever again. This was how I was going to avenge my mother's death. So I called my dad to get more information. Lights changed.
He died in, I think, fall of 2014.
Okay.
So then I tracked down his family.
Did you talk to him?
Well, sort of. I sent them letters. I got a phone call. And I played in the show.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a great teaser or whatever. We got a cliffhanger or something. That's
Yeah.
incredible, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So we're learning about the details about the tragedy and obviously a much deeper understanding of your mother. How do you see your mom now? What's your take on her currently?
For a long time, you know, I would go back to Vietnam every few years, and everyone sees her as this like mythical, heroic figure. You know, like she escaped Vietnam after 6 attempts with my dad, came to America within 8 years, bought their first home, nail salons. My dad had a gardening service, sponsored over all our family members. You know, at one point we were 13 people living in a 4-bedroom house. You know,
man.
it was the Vietnamese refugee experience, right? And so everyone sees her as this hero, but she was always this mystery to me. And I think by doing all this research, and the show has become a forcing function to actually ask different questions to my dad and to my aunties and to my siblings. And they all respond in different ways, which you'll see in the show. And so now she's this 3-dimensional figure to me, right? Like, she died when I was 11, and I only had like, I don't know, like a handful of memories, 15 memories of her, really.
Right.
And then now I see all her flaws. I see all her perfections. I see her beauty. And I really hope I can see how I'm like her too.
How's your family responding to the show?
I showed them episode 1. I put it on the calendar. I was like, it's at 2 p.m. One brother comes down to watch it with his wife, one other sister-in-law, and a cousin and his wife. 2 other siblings were like, no, I'm good.
I don't need it.
No, I'm good, yeah. But as I've been doing more and more installments of the show, my sister actually came to the Northwest New Works On the Board show in June. And I'm very excited to say that on the last show, my closing show, my brother and my sister are flying up. They're coming to watch it.
Nice.
And even my brother's gonna do the Q&A after the show.
Really?
Yeah, we'll find out what he thinks.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So basically, your hope for the audience then what they would take away? What are you conveying to them? Is it just like face your life? Is that?
What I've learned is like, look, I can't undo the past. I can't bring my mom back as much as I've tried.
Right.
But by doing this show, this is my way of really seeking justice and really raising awareness to medical malpractice, and also just really positing the question, you know, what is destiny? What is fate? What are we in control of? And in our current relationships with people who are alive now, what can we do now?
Well, you are something else, Susan Lieu. So 140 pounds, How Beauty Killed My Mother runs now through February 17th at Theater Off Jackson. Ticket information is at theateroffjackson.org. Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
Nancy.
are my new hero.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
you are.
let's do it. Good, okay.
That was great, absolutely great. Well, we could talk on and on. Thank you, sir. Our band this week is Darren Loucas, and this is the one and only, the talented Darren Loucas. Hey, you.
How you doing, Nancy?
I'm great. You're looking mighty fine, as always.
Well, thank you.
So before we have a little chat, why don't we meet the dream team with you, and starting with this incredible person on your right.
This is Aisha Music Box Brooks,
Yes,
my dear
indeed.
friend.
Aisha. And here,
The Statue of Liberty, Rebecca Young.
hey, Rebecca, back on the skins.
Eric Eagle, the best in the West.
Right on, great, Eric. And this guy here. Who is he?
Daniel Walker.
Daniel Walker, he is the man. Now, you played Art Zone a few years ago, the Jelly Rollers, which included you two, Rebecca and Eric, which is an amazing band. You're still together doing stuff, right? But this, Darren Loucas, is a different project, a different sound, and you've put out a couple of releases. The most recent one, 2018, self-titled, five songs. When I heard it, I kind of flipped out. I mean, I think I emailed you right away, and I listened to it through a couple of times.
That brought me off the ledge.
Oh, I'm so glad. Good. I did some good. Well, so how would you describe the Darren Loucas sound, or what this is?
I think it's just, the sum of all my influences.
Which are?
Like blues, Beatles, and beyond. You know.
So what was I saying?
The Who?
The Who,
Oh, I
right?
love The
Tommy.
Who.
I kind of name-checked Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the inspiration for this new set of songs? Is there anything that was pushing you?
Not really. It was just, you know, life as it goes in song.
Are you a Buddhist by chance?
No, no. I'm very Jewish.
Well, Jewish Buddhist. I mean, it all flows together. So I know you're going to play us 2 songs off of the EP, and I think the first one is
Oh Grace.
Oh Grace. Okay. Well, are we all ready to do Oh Grace? Yes. Are you?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Loucas and the Dream Team.
Oh, Grace, I know that you love me and I'm to blame. You predicted the end of the world before it was made. I reach for the sun, still I find myself frozen out again. You preach about devils and details, I know about art. Trivial matters offend you, you cut to their heart. I reset the game and awake to a world unchanged, my love. Oh, has happy hour come round at last? 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 Oh, Grace, I know that you love me and I'm to blame. You predicted the end of the world before it was made. I reach for the sun, still I find myself frozen out again. Oh, has happy hour come round at last? 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 Stars had to die so you could see by their light, but I'm crying tonight. I know stars had to die so we could see by their light, but I'm crying tonight. I know stars had to die so we could see by their light, but I'm crying tonight. I know the stars had to die so we could see by their light, but I'm crying tonight. I'm crying tonight. I'm crying.
The Darren Loucas EP is available for download at darrenloucas.bandcamp.com or wherever you buy your music online.
Hi, I'm Chris Dewar, and I'm thrilled to be curating this week's calendar of events. We'll start off with a heartwarming acrobatic fairy tale new musical from Seattle-based Dacha Theater, The Light Princess. Unfortunately, the princess is cursed and has no physical or emotional gravity, Without it, she can't experience any wavy feelings or touch the ground. As the kingdom scrambles to break the curse before her 16th birthday, the princess finds a love that helps her celebrate what makes her different. Final performances are this weekend, February 8th through the 10th. Let's head over to the Vera Project for the Yahoo Indigenous Teen Art Show. The word Yahoo means to proceed, to go forward, to do it. And these teens are doing just that. This exhibition celebrates the depth, diversity, and the talents of these artists. While young Indigenous creatives are underrepresented in the mainstream art world, this show highlights their capabilities. Now through February 28th. Next, hold on, because we're headed into the depths of hell in the new musical, The Devil and Sarah Blackwater, presented by Annex Theater. Folk singer-songwriter Sarah Blackwater's tour gets interrupted when the devil comes calling about a debt, the eternal soul of her partner, Sam. With love as her only compass, Sarah goes through hell and back to discover what's really worth holding on to. Now through March 2nd. And I'd love to tell you about an event that Jet City Improv is hosting, the 17th Annual Seattle Festival of Improv Theater. For this 5-day festival of improvisational theater and comedy, we invite groups from all over North America and the world to participate. There will be a dozen shows at 2 venues, including workshops and masterclasses. Our headliners this year are Theme Park Improv from Los Angeles, featuring Simon Helberg, John Michael Higgins, Michael Hitchcock, Jessica Mankinson, Cole Stratton, and Janet Varney. You can check it out February 20th through the 24th.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, before wrapping up, I want to mention a new book by local author James Rupp called Art in Seattle's Public Spaces. Jim is a lawyer and historian who has been collecting information about the local public art scene for over 40 years. And this book, his second on the subject, features more than 350 public artworks beautifully photographed by Miguel Edwards, along with biographies on the artists and detailed area maps for self-guided public art tours. Pick up your copy of Art in Seattle's Public Spaces at your favorite local bookstore or online. And that's it for us. A big thanks to South Park Hall for hosting us. We love what you've done with this place, and we cannot wait to come back. Thanks to you also for tuning in. We will be back soon with lots more great local art. Have a great week.
You can call me anytime, day and night, if something heavy needs lifting. Oh, you're my little cigarette. You're my little cigarette. Oh, you're as hot as it can get. You're as hot as it can get. Oh, you're my little cigarette. I just can't quit you yet. I just can't quit you yet. I just can't quit you, yeah.